is going on, folks? Will Turbit here for Demand the Truth. Fake Mike, real news. That's right. A lot of people ask me, hey Will, hey idiot, why do you have a fake microphone? Why are you carrying around a whisk like an idiot? Well, number one, I'm an idiot. Number two, I used to dress up in a suit, carry around a fake microphone, used to tell these people, get in these people's faces, ask them questions that the media wasn't asking them. And I figured perception's everything, right? Might as well do that. And then everybody, once I got on Auditing America's channel, shout out to Mr. America from Auditing America. I got a lot of exclusive content over there too. Like, share, and subscribe. All of his viewers, they were like, you idiot, that's clearly a fake microphone that you're carrying. And then shout outs to Anarchic Chick. She was like, real news, fake mic. Inverted it, fake mic, real news. And we got the whisk from there. So that's why the stupid whisk. It also represents transparency. It also represents the fact that I am not taken by any corporations, whether they're part of the military-industrial complex, whether they're part of Big Pharma. So funny, famous rap line. It's actually not famous, underground, but they sell drugs on TV at the same time. Lock a mother up for the same crime. Sad, sad, sad. And we have Mr. Universal joining me any second now. I see him here. It's going to be amazing. Oh yeah, we're going to bring him on camera. So I wanted to explain the origin of fake mic because I get asked about it like stream anyways. Because you guys watch the video. Oh yeah, Mr. Universal is in the house. So if you guys know about Demand the Truth, then surely you know about Mr. Universal. Universal crew out there in KC. He's the head of that. He's at the top of the pyramid. And he created a big movement out there, and it's Universal with a O-L. And that's because they're universal, right? They do comedy, they do parties, they do occult metaphysical teachings, they do gardening, grilling. They literally do everything, occult symbology, and this First Amendment audit, activism, advocacy. This guy does it all. So we'll have a brief interview, but I wanted to start, not a brief interview, we're gonna have a good conversation right now. So I implore you guys to share this video. And this will also, I want you guys to go to my boy's YouTube channel here too, but we got a lot to talk about because as you guys know, these people want to divide and conquer, order out of chaos with these people. That's what they want. And they've been doing that for a long time. Democrats, Republicans, different people on different sides of the political spectrum or different beliefs, Yankees, Red Sox, whatever it is, they always want to divide us. They understand our human subconscious ever since back in the days of the guy that literally wrote the book on propaganda, Edward Bernays. They understand we're tribal, and they want us to fight against each other. And right now, everybody knows there's like two sides on social media right now. You're either, you know, the cops need some more accountability and this and that, and you're protesting, or everybody that protests the cops is bad. And then some people see all the protesters as looters, and then some people, so we've been divided on this for a very long time. So there's a lot of facts that people aren't, and things that are just circumstantial evidence that people aren't talking about. So that's why I'm having this chat with Mr. Universal. Mr. Universal, welcome back to the channel. This guy, me and him, we've been breaking down occult symbology in real time. We've given you interviews. We talked about Nikola Tesla stuff. So welcome back to the show, Mr. Universal. It's my pleasure to be joined by you once again.
All right. Thank you so much, brother. It's an honor to be here live with you, with the man, the true, fake Mike, real news. You already know, Mr. Universal, Universal TV. I'm very pumped. I'm very excited. We got a really great conversation ahead to share with all of you guys. I'm pretty excited, man. Let's get this cracking. I'm ready.
All right, so let's start this conversation off just laying the groundwork before we get into the deep dive, right? Because if we don't start here, people aren't going to follow us. So first and foremost, I am not left-wing. I am not right-wing. I'm a political atheist. I don't believe in any of these politicians. We've documented ad nauseum well before the Netflix documentary in the mainstream media. We were talking about it when nobody was talking about it on youtube.com/demand the truth. There was other people out there, but definitely not people in the mainstream. We talked to you about the elite pedophile rings. We talked to you about the genetically modified foods. Yep, they do have cancer. They said, Will, you're crazy. There's no such thing as chemtrails. And then Bill Gates says, oh, not only are we geoengineering, but we're going to dim the atmosphere and block out the sun. And then I'm going to give $2 million to Jeffrey Epstein after he got caught raping kids, on and on and on and on and on. So there's more to the story than all of this. But let's just first talk about the institution of police in general, because I feel like right now I have friends on the right-wing side of things that don't actually realize that the police are not constitutional, first and foremost. There's no provisions in the Constitution for police. There are for the executive branch, there are for Congress, there are for the Supreme Court. Yes, there they are. But we didn't have police for a very long time in this country. As a matter of fact, police started out as runaway slave catchers in the South. We had the Second Amendment, the right to defend ourselves. And as a matter of fact, Lakeland, Florida, police sheriff says, hey, guess what? You guys want to come into my house? These guys are going to have guns. I implore them to use their guns. So if people want to go loot those places, I implore them to shoot you. So that's what the Second Amendment was made for, not only just hunting, not only keeping yourself away from an organized or unorganized mob, but also as the government. That George Washington and other founding fathers make that very clear in their own writings. So the police themselves, okay, and I'll just quickly say too, they're not the Andy Griffith police from back in the day. The police have been extremely militarized. It's a police state. Not only that, the big problem here is the fact that these police, they're not upholding their oath to the Constitution. Now, police would be perfectly fine if their job was to serve and protect and uphold their oath to the Constitution. However, we've seen leaked videos of training for police.
Now, folks, let's be honest. I grew up in a law enforcement family. Maybe there was a day when if a man was asked for an ass whooping, it's a cop's job to give it to him, yes?
Time for Rockford Ladder 2.
Where it calls our founding fathers terrorists, and some of our founding fathers were bad people. But they're also trained to subvert your Fourth Amendment right, your First Amendment right. The right to peaceably assemble has been gone even before COVID, right? People were in and after COVID, people were getting ripped out of churches, funerals were ripped apart by police. The Second Amendment, cops are killing people, unconstitutional red flag laws. We have, on and on and on. They're trained to subvert your Fourth Amendment rights. They're literally trained to do that. So when the group of people who are supposed to protect their oath to the Constitution murder the Constitution, and then start murdering civilians at an alarming rate.
What we want in a modern liberal democracy in our army is we want to turn violence on and off like a faucet.
Now, you make the point that while killing may be an inherent taboo, it's something that can be learned.
The only way you make a frightened person react in a certain way is to drill it into them, to make it a conditioned response.
Something needs to be done, right? And people always say, well, they're killing more white people than black people. Well, yes, that's because statistically black folks only make up roughly about 13% of the population. However, according to the police's own statistics, guys, share this video, let's get this video out. And I'm gonna let Mr. Universal talk, but I definitely wanted people to know that, look, we're not left wing, we're right wing, or right wing. We're just regular people, right? I hate the Democrats and Republicans equally. We're just regular people. Mr. Universal can speak for himself, but I'm not taking a side here. I'm just going with what I know the best. So these people have been subverting our rights for a long time. Statistically, according to their own statistics, African Americans are far more likely to get pulled over and searched illegally. Whereas, according to the police own statistics, even though the white people are less likely to be pulled over, less likely to be searched, they are more likely to have illegal drugs and weapons on them. I don't believe there should be a such thing as legal drugs or weapons. That's another story for another time. But I wanted to lay the groundwork and also talk about the fact that we have a lot of these at least higher ranking police officers, and I've heard this, but then I found out this to be true because I've seen them doing First Amendment audits with Mr. America, where I'll meet a lot of officers and they'll have the Masonic ring on, and I'll ask them about Masonry. And I'll say, and nothing bad about Masonry either, because George Washington said, you know, Masonry was probably a good thing, and then according to his own writings in the Library of Congress, the Illuminati were the actual historical Bavarian Illuminati before it was supposedly outlawed in 1789 or 1793. George Washington was writing about it 5 years later, infiltrating the Freemasonic lodges. So Masons themselves might not be bad. Who knows? We have these different levels. We'll never know, right? Because, you know, I'm definitely not going to become a Freemason, but even if you do, you have to join up all these different levels. So even if you're a Mason, you don't know what's going on the 33rd level. So I'm sorry I'm ranting and raving here, but what oath do they take more seriously? So we have a complex situation, and then we also have the entire Constitution shut down, the thing that, and keep in mind that the Constitution could not have been shut down if it would just been Gina Raimondo or Donald Trump saying, hey, you know, we should probably shut things down. The police had to be the ones to shut down funerals. They had to be the ones to destroy businesses. They had to be the one to push old men over.
He's out of his ears. He's out of his ears. Get somebody over here. He's bleeding out of his ear. Get him medic.
And stomp pregnant women in the stomach.
You actually harassed me.
Pop the.
You actually harassed me. Like, why? Why? You didn't let us put you. I'll practice.
So Hitler really didn't kill anybody. I don't believe he killed himself and Eva Braun, even the new CIA files. We're getting deep already, and I'm already ranting. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you take over here. But I really want to lay the groundwork. Say that the CIA and FBI were looking for him for a long time. The skull revealed that, hey, that wasn't his head. That was a female's head, unless Hitler was a female. He didn't kill anybody. It was the jackboot thugs that I'm just following orders. Hey, I'm just getting paid. Look, I don't want to argue. I'm just doing my job here, okay? So keep in mind that the cops' #1 job is to uphold the Constitution, and they haven't done that. And now they're doing some terrible stuff, in my opinion. So lastly, I'll transition into this. There's some interesting stuff about this George Floyd case here that doesn't add up to the normal story.
Over here. That means to me that they filmed this more than once. There's nobody over here complaining and saying, get off of him, put him in the car, and taking pictures. And he's in a different spot. He's not as far out at the bottom of the car. See, he's like right at the end. Over here, he's sticking out so that the people over there could see. While he was doing all that yelling, there was people on this other side taking pictures. So he must have done it. They must have done it more than once. So, does that tell you it was staged?
And now, the official story of 9/11, that was a lie. The Warren Commission, JFK, that was a lie. We can go into it. Even the 9/11 commissioners, 6 out of 10 said, hey, this isn't the truth. They didn't address Building 7. And time after time, we find out lies. And then the last thing I'll say right here, too, is Operation Mockingbird, CIA, spent over $1 billion worth of today's money to buy up all of the corporations and pay off all the journalists and control what we think. So that's absolutely proven. Now all of the same corporations are member of the Council on Foreign Relations. 5 to 6 corporations run what we see. And in David Rockefeller's autobiography entitled Memoirs, written in 2002, he talks about his time in the Army where he met William Paley. William Paley was the head of the psychological warfare department for the Army, who would go on to found CBS. And then you have ABC, and then NBC was also located at, still to this day, 30 Rockefeller Center. So you have an elite group of people, Edward Bernays, the Rockefellers, all these people transforming what we think. And they put these world events out there knowing that we're going to take a yes or no, a this or that position. But Mr. Universal, the truth is much stranger than fiction more often than not. What have you noticed about this situation? And sorry for that entirely way too long rant, but nowadays people are quick to say, oh, if I say this, oh, he's right wing, I'm not listening to him. Oh, if he says that, he's left wing. But I believe in freedom. So, Mr. Universal, welcome back to the show. Thank you for allowing me to rant, and please take over.
All right.
What are some of the weird things you see?
So first thing I want to say is it's time. It is time, brothers and sisters, to wake the up. It's time to wake up, because if you're not waking up, you're staying asleep. And if you're in sleep mode, you're in zombie mode. If you're in zombie mode, you're in control mode. And if you're in control mode, you're not controlling your own destiny. You're not controlling your own life. You're letting the system control your life. You're letting the people that control this system control you like a Sims character. So it's on you. Do you want to start taking action with your own freedom of will as your own divine right within this vessel, within this realm, within this world, to live, to exist, to create, and to experience? Okay, and this is what's being taken away from us all, from birth. You know, there is deceptions on all levels. Okay, I've been spiritually awakened since 2008. Before, when people didn't know about the Illuminati, didn't know about all these conspiracy stuff. This was when YouTube was still a little bit more new. You know, and when you speak about these type of stuff, people are like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're a conspiracist. Oh, this guy's making this stuff up, so on and so forth. You know, and that's because the people.
Hey, Mr. Universal, you're questioning known pedophile protectors and people who have lied over war? You're a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
That's all a conspiracy theorist is. If you question pedophiles and warmongers, you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, guess that. If that makes me a conspiracy theorist, I'll take that badge.
Yeah, it's like the word conspiracy theorist is like the easy way to tell people, shut up, it's untrue, it's too crazy or too fearful for me to believe in you.
And one more thing before I let you go, Mr. Universal. Yes, the term conspiracy theorist was coined by the CIA after the Warren Commission because so many people didn't believe the official JFK story. They said, we're going to weaponize this term. Anybody that's a critical thinker who thinks against the government, we're going to call them a conspiracy theorist. Share this video, guys. Share this video. Let's get it out, because this is a different discussion than you're going to hear definitely on Fox News or CNN.
Right. And we don't have no makeup on. That's for sure.
Me neither. So, no makeup here, guys.
No makeup. So going back to deception on all levels. I mean, guys, if there's one thing that you can remember from this talk, there's one thing you can take today, is I want you to become conscious, to become aware. Okay, use your own brain, use your own heart. Let your soul, let your divine spark, your divine being, your Holy Spirit within you guide you. Don't fall into the lies, to the deceit, to the deception that they're using their own tools to manipulate us, to brainwash the population, to control us, so they can continue to laugh at us. When you realize that there's deception on all levels, and if you really, really realize this, you're going to start questioning everything, whether it's the news, the newspaper, celebrities giving out their little speeches. When crazy acts of violence happens, you have to question everything, because if you're not questioning, you're going back into sleep mode, and that's where they want you. The people who control this world, the elites, like Will was talking about, these secret societies, They want us to stay asleep, because the moment we start waking up, the moment we start questioning what's going on, is the moment we start to empower ourselves and stand within our own divine presence, our own divine will, and take a stand. Because if we don't take a stand, they're going to keep on with the same false flags events. And you know what? There's so many people asleep out there that they eat it up. They eat it up, you know. And I was telling you, well, you know, the other day I was talking to him, and I was like, you know what? You know, there's something fishy about this. And as soon as I seen all this stuff go down, and I started to see the videos, and then I started seeing the protests, like, yo, I've been awake since 2008. I'm not easily to be fooled. I already know what's up. We were just coming in from this pandemic, this false flag pandemic, where we have this coronavirus and having everybody locked in and going against our constitutional rights, right? They're feeding us this bullshit, and then they want us to follow. Why? Because they're the leaders, they're the elites, they're the leaders of
social
this
distancing
nation.
went absolutely nowhere, because you see these healthcare workers without gloves on, not social distancing, cheering on the protesters. All of a sudden, COVID is out the window. It's completely forgotten about because the data didn't support it. It completely fell apart. Their narrative fell apart, and so it seems like whether they manufactured this event or not, I'm not saying they did or didn't, they definitely have the ability within the media to focus on something to change the narrative regardless.
Yep. And it's like, okay, well, they said that a cop, right? They set up these plots, they set up these stories way before it even goes down. I'm gonna tell you right now, they use predictive programming. The Simpsons are known for this. It's not that the fucking Simpsons are predicting the future. They're not predicting the future, but they're putting out what they have planned. You know, these elites, for their agendas to manifest in reality, to manifest into this world, they're obligated through universal laws to expose and to tell people, and it's like hiding the truth right in front of your face. And people gobble this stuff up. You know, deception on all levels. We have the Illuminati card game, okay? A deck of cards that was created, I think, what, in the 80s or the 70s? The Illuminati card
Late
game?
80s, early 90s, yeah. I think
You
it was
know,
maybe 95, 92, I think, yeah.
Yep. And it's not like the person predicted all this stuff, but you know what? These people put in a plan of action, and their goals will be met one way or another. It don't matter if it's going to take a decade or a lifetime, because these families that rule the elites, they pass down their agendas through their bloodlines.
And if anybody
Bloodline
thinks
after
that this
bloodline
guy
after
is
bloodline.
talking out of his butt right now, we have actual evidence of this, at least in the Bilderberg group, at least in the Skull and Bones Secret Society, where the world's elite meet every single year and have been caught on record, even by the mainstream news, as well as independent journalists, controlling, and members of the Bilderberg group as well too, admit that what they do there, it's the world elite, and they help shape world events, and they meet on a nearly yearly basis. It should be the time right about now that they're meeting, but COVID and protests, so I haven't heard about that. But yeah, let's talk about some of these anomalies here. But no, continue.
Right. So we got these Illuminati card games that have been playing out for years. Since the year I woke in back in 2008, I've been seeing a lot of different cards, and I've been seeing stuff actually come into fruition. You know, and one thing, you know, when you start awakening spiritually, okay, when you awaken spiritually and you start tapping into who you are as a divine being, and you know you are divinely protected with your own divinely right, and when, let's say, the devil or this evil, these dark beings, the dark rulers of these worlds, they can't manipulate you when you start thinking for yourself. They cannot manipulate you. Why? Because you're being guided with that inner divine light. So when you see certain things, it's like COVID happened, all this stuff, and all this fear and people dying. Well, I seen right through the fucking bullshit. I'm like, wow, here we go again. The next agenda. And it's funny how their agenda didn't last that long. It lasted like 2-3 months. You know, it's still technically going on in certain states, but now that since Trump decided to open back up America and start talking about different truths and how a lot of these numbers were fabricated out of freaking thin air, now they're like, okay, well, that didn't work. What's the next agenda? How are we going to distract the population? How are we going to deceive the population? Now they sit here and do this whole protest because a white cop murdered a black cop. How many Black people die a year from cop shootings? How many Latin people? How many? It don't even matter race. How many people die a year because of a cop accidentally shooting somebody, saying that they had a gun, so on and so forth? You know, where were the riots then? Where are the riots when there's hundreds of thousands of children missing in the United States of America? This is this one guy that we're talking about. What about the hundreds of thousands?
Yeah, because like as Cameron would say,
live their lives?
because people like die every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, why this? Why now? And I definitely think that, you know, if this story is the mainline story of it is true, then, and if it did happen the way they said it does, then it is a tragedy. Obviously, it's a murder in cold blood, and we do have this happen, and that's part of the reason that I'm glad we're having this nuanced talk, because do I believe that the police have become militarized and we live in a police state and things are bad and we need to have a detailed, nuanced discussion about that? Yes, absolutely. And this could be another sterling example of that. But to your point too, people die every single day. Police abuse people every single day. I mean, there's worse police abuse videos I see every single day, and they don't go viral. Why did this particular instance go viral, do you think?
Right. Well, obviously, it's a part of their agenda. You know, like the other day, I sent you that video clip of a pregnant Black woman, right? And you know what? I don't even like the word Black. They're melanated, okay? The saying the person is Black is going back to the freaking slave masters.
Shout out to the Moors. The Moors just call themselves Moors. So. Yeah,
you know
but I'm white, so I don't know what I can call people. So I'm using whatever they let me know.
Our melanated brothers and sisters, okay? There was a melanated woman that was pregnant, was getting harassed by the cops, thrown on the floor, tased. After she said, "I'm pregnant. Why are you doing this to me?" Bah! You know, and shocked her. And then he shoots her. Where the fuck was the riot then? Where was the fucking riot then?
And that's one thing I'll say is it's so sad because it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. The fact that the Rockefellers, the Edward Bernays, these large corporations, CIA, the Operation Mockingbird, they control our media. So it's sad to see like when Donald Trump became president, like first of all, when Bush was president, there was an anti-war movement, right? Obama said, "I'm going to end all these wars." Came in and didn't. The anti-war movement stopped. We're only outraged at what the media tells us to be outraged, right? And that's the thing is like we have examples that are way worse every day. Where were the riots then? It's only because the media tells us what to do. And we're like, "Oh, yes, master. Yes, what should I be upset about now?" "Oh, yeah, okay, Orange Man bad, okay, Russia, okay, whatever you say," right? So that's important. We need to stop relying on the media and trusting them as some type of authority. They've been paid off. They've been bought off by the military-industrial complex, the CIA, Big Pharma. They wear way too much makeup, and they've been caught lying over and over and over and over and over. It's not only lying, but staging events. So you guys cannot go back to, if you watch the media, that's fine, but watch it with an open, skeptical mind and realize that these people have been caught staging things before. They've covered up for pedophiles and promoted wars. Literally lied about weapons of mass destruction and other wars. So, like Mr. Universal says, one of the things you got to do is waking up. One of the ways to wake up is to stop paying attention to the mainstream news because they're lying, pedophile, protecting warmongers. So yes, why are they making us so upset about this one? People die all the time.
Well, you know, it goes back to what I was mentioning about the Illuminati card game, right? They have more cards that haven't came out to play. So these people, they see these deck of cards as their goals and their agendas, and this is what they have to meet. So even though it's a card game, it's also a game to the elites. And they'd be like, okay, well, bam, it's time to roll out this card. It's time to roll out this card. And please, guys, do some research into the Illuminati card game, to Illuminati cards. They speak about this. Recent cards, they were showing riots, the destruction of the United States, police brutality. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, all cops are evil, all cops are the devil, all the cops are corrupt, because I have had good cops in the past that helped me and protect me. I'm friends with a couple of cops, and they're really good people. They have really, really good hearts. But what we're standing up for is the corrupted cops. It's the bad cops. Even now with the whole protesting, like like you just mentioned, cop pushing over the old person. There was like a young girl that got shot in the face with a rubber bullet. There was this one gentleman that helped one of the cops that was like knocked out unconscious or something. He grabbed the cop by the ankles and helped carry the cop to a safe distance with two other cops. And then that same guy got shot by rubber bullets from the cops. So the thing is that, we need our system to follow our Constitution, to make sure that there's high, that they keep these the police to high standards, and we need to see cops get arrested, get locked up. We need to see a fucking cop that has killed and murdered somebody go on the fucking death penalty and be announced through the fucking media.
I don't agree with the death penalty, but yes, harsher punishment for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, there's been so many stories in the past that people who were innocent got locked up in jail and got a death penalty.
We've interviewed people here on this channel that were in jail for 27 years for multiple crimes they didn't commit. And shout outs to Avi from Live and Direct on the Air.com. Go find him on YouTube and Instagram too. He's getting 3 or 4 or 5 more people out of jail right now who were there completely illegally. Most of the people that are in jail, we got more people in jail than China, are non-violent drug offenders, while the CIA and the big companies bring in the drugs too. And while we're talking about the Illuminati cards too, it's not really sure who kind of was a creative mind. We know kind of who dropped it. We don't know much about that. But it's also interesting too. Shout outs and rest in peace to Doc Marquis. Doc Marquis was one of the original researchers of these of the so-called Illuminati since like '79, early '80s. He was on Oprah. Him and I also did a whole show together before he passed away called Tearing Through the Darkness. And he has an entire DVD section on the Illuminati card games, which is very interesting. And as far as talking about the Illuminati cards and stuff like that, it seems like regardless of how people want to break those down, and I think it's interesting, and they do call for, uprising, race riots, mobilizing citizens against one another. But then we have some real oddities. Like we've had these oddities before when it came to Sandy Hook, 9/11, JFK, Las Vegas. It's so funny because a couple hours on 9/11, we knew, it was Osama bin Laden. It was 11 Muslim hijackers in caves. They did it with box cutters. They took down the entire United States defense security infrastructure with box cutters. We still don't know what happened on Las Vegas. So how is this possible? So one of the things I noticed, and I wanted to ask you some of the things you noticed. One of the things I noticed was, and I'm no expert on this, these are just things I noticed, right? It doesn't mean they're real. I don't know what's going on here. But we have Chauvin and Tao, the two officers, the white gentleman and the Asian gentleman. First of all, like she's married, his sister's married into the force, something like that. But it looks like from one of the vantage points, it says the license plate says police, and they have different badges on. One was like put on or printed on. Looks a little different. And I deal with police officers all the time. Me and Mr. America travel this country, and you don't see that much deviation. Sometimes you see cops with, you know, a polo shirt or something like that, but you don't tend to see if somebody has a badge, somebody else has another type of badge. And there's these other anomalies there. What do you think? What do you make of those?
Well, let's give a huge thanks for these people fucking up so bad that they're being exposed already through this video footage. I mean, I seen 2 videos, 2 different angles. Okay, this guy is still alive. He's on the floor. He has a knee to his neck. He's whining. I can't breathe. Saying all this information, right? The cop's still on top of him. Then out of nowhere, the ambulance comes. Well, why the fuck does the ambulance have to come if dude's still alive on a video? Then when the ambulance hops out, it's a freaking cop, or who knows, a costume of a cop.
It's weird because cops don't jump out of ambulances.
No.
Never.
Did you see the type of pulse check that he did? The guy came out and like this to his boss, to his head, and was like, I don't understand that. Like people should like question that. They check his pulse and that he was pronounced dead. Okay, so who called the ambulance at first while dude was still alive, grasping for air, saying I can't breathe, but yet the ambulance shows up while dude's still alive. And it's not like they showed this guy die on camera. Now, there was a difference. If we're watching this video, the cop pulls out a gun and shoots the dude in the head and kills him right there, and people see that. But there's no evidence at all that shows that this guy actually had his last breath with a knee on his neck and died right there. There's no evidence. There's 2 angles from this camera. One camera shows there's somebody on the sidewalk with somebody else next to them, and they're recording. And then when you get the other angle, you can tell things have switched up a little bit, and then there's nobody on the sidewalk. So they're contradicting themselves with the information that they're putting out. And that's what we need to question.
Yeah, also another weird thing I noticed is too, you have, it looks like in 3 places in less than 3 days across this world, we have a person of African descent dying at the hands of an officer by a knee on that same neck area, which is interesting. And then you also have people like George Soros, then you have who are financing some of these things. Then you have, at first when I covered it first, it was a conspiracy theory about the bricks, and now we've seen the bricks. They've been dropped off in weird places. Not only that, we have on video from a separate video, cops destroying in Boston their own cruiser, a separate video, Boston cops planting bricks themselves. Then we have a video, shout out to Chase from the Allen Report. He was live streaming, watching Boston officers destroy their own car. Then you have the weird dude with the umbrella at the AutoZone in Minneapolis, shattering the windows, who was more than likely a cop. The black dude smoking my blunt, he's like, hold my blunt, I'm about to expose this agent provocateur. I like that guy. I would have kept the blunt. I would have just kept the blunt.
Are you a cop? He was asking him too, bro.
That was so epic because, and that's why we do these videos. That's why Mr. Universal, Mr. America, and this stupid idiot with the fake mic do what we do, is because we want to have more people out there on the ground that know what's going on. Because if you fall into the left wing or right wing brainwashing, then they're just going to smash us against each other like 2 football fields, smoke cigars and laugh about us and put their ashes out on us. But if we're awake and encountering them in real time, they're a paper tiger to be defeated.
Yep. You know, it's sad to say that even while these false flags events is that innocent people are being hurt. Innocent people are being attacked. There's people that have died this past week. There's females that have been raped because of this bullshit. You know, a child died in a burning building as well in Virginia. You know, there's a lot of innocent people being killed, dying, getting injured because of this false flag event. And this is where the United States citizens, all right, the people of this country, where we need to stand our ground and protest non-violently. And if there's somebody that is acting out of spite, that is acting out of character, this is why we need good cops and good human citizens to march together. Because when these other people who are ex-cops or paid actors or whatnot, when they start breaking and burning and stuff like that, that's when we need justice as well. We need these people to lock up, because people like that is the reason why we're going to get our rights taken away.
Yep.
Because we can't.
And we've already had, it's a curfew. We've got curfews in a lot of places. It's so funny, they give us another disguise. First, we're going to take all your rights due to COVID. Now we're going to help incite the riots themselves, get people to riot, and then take down your rights as a result. Problem, reaction, solution all day, guys. We need to be on the side of human freedom and keep fighting for that. It's also interesting too that according to reports, these guys worked at the same restaurant nightclub for 17 years together. At first I heard reports of like, well, maybe they didn't know each other and he was outside, he was inside, maybe the shifts didn't overlap, but 17 years, I mean, if I work with somebody for 17 years, it's not like you're a waiter or waitress in a big restaurant where you don't necessarily know everybody and the turnover's crazy. The security team is much smaller, so we have to think of it this opens up a ton of potentiality here, because could it be that these guys were in on it together and maybe did something? Or could this actually be first-degree murder here? Could it be premeditated murder because he knew, oh, I knew this guy from the thing. I can't wait to kill this idiot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But there's a lot of really weird things on the circumstances. And then I even saw another video, and you got to be careful with the deep fakes and the manipulation, the Photoshop and so forth, but saw another video from another angle, and it didn't, from behind the officers, and it doesn't show that person with the camera phone at all. And it's interesting too, like, they're going to call us crazy for this already, but like, you were talking to me about some of the anomalies about this before, and then you sent me a video afterwards that had been sent to you that said George Floyd is not dead, prove me wrong. Now I need you guys to share this video, because we're talking about topics that most people don't want to talk about. We've said JFK, 9/11, and Sandy Hook, military industrial complex, big pharma, pedophilia like 9 times already. So this is not going to be algorithmized to reach people. So share the videos. But you've got all these weird circumstances at play here, and how do we really know what's happening? Because, like I said earlier, the media is known to lie. The police are caught on video lying. The media is caught on video lying. You can't trust known liars. We don't have any information. We don't know if Seth Rich is really dead.
Right.
We don't know if Osama bin Laden's dead. Right. We have
no
no evidence.
Is really dead or not.
Yes, exactly, dog. So how do we know George Floyd is dead? And the funniest shit about it is his autopsy said he had coronavirus. Oh, and the funny thing is, his autopsy was done by the same guy, Michael Baden, who said that Epstein maybe didn't kill himself. So we don't know what's really going on here. And it's actually not conspiracy theorists, it's actually just using the Socratic method. And on top of that, it's even more, like I said, because you're questioning known liars, pedophiles, and warmongers. So how do we know that he's even dead anyways, right? We don't know. We have no idea what's going on. You got cops jumping out of ambulances. I've never seen that before. We got a lot of weird things. Keep going.
Yeah. Why do people gobble this stuff up? It's like, we're questioning the deaths of all these people. And if you notice, since Trump has been in presidency, right? I'm not trying to talk about Trump, but we had a death of a Rockefeller, a big time Rockefeller, and we had a death of a big time Rothschild as well. So, and this is in the last, what, 2-3 years.
They're old, bro. They're old guys, though. They're
Yeah.
old. Rockefeller was like 99, so.
Mhm.
Or maybe even, I think he died right before 100. His goal is to get to 100 owned. Sorry, you're a piece of shit. Rest in peace. I hope
Who
the
knows
best
if
for
they
you,
have
but at least you did
another
get 100.
younger clone version of themselves already out there. I mean, come on, man.
And
These
people are saying,
so
oh, you're
close.
clones, that's crazy. Well, Jeffrey Epstein got caught literally baby farming at the Zorro Ranch, trying to clone people. And then you have the John of God cult who are baby farming too, and involved with all this stuff. So it's not that crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta act. Sometimes you have to think crazy so you can get a little bit closer to the truth.
And truth is always stranger than fiction. I mean, these people literally look up. I implore you guys to go look up quotes of Edward Bernays. I'm going to try to paraphrase one right now. It's like, the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the society must be done by a technocratic elite. Like, he basically says, he's the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he says, these guys are so stupid, we need to tell them everything. And it's really sad. It's really, really sad that we're not critical thinkers. We just accept what we get from these people. And time after time, we find these anomalies on these earth-changing events, and if you question things, you're very crazy. What else are you hearing people talk about? What other anomalies? What are the strange things or just general weirdness is there around there? Because I know I'm missing a couple things too. Pardon me.
Yeah. Well, man, honestly, there's just things on all levels. And when I think about the future, honestly, it scares me because one, we have technology taking over, right? Which I don't want to go too deep into technology, but a lot of the technology we have here was given to us by people that are not from planet Earth, you know? And, you know, with the whole artificial intelligence, AIs, Facebook having their own AI, Google having their own AI, Elon Musk, and who knows all the other black projects out there that have to do with artificial intelligence,
In
technology.
mainstream news, Elon Musk wants to put a Neuralink right in your brain to merge with your synapses and microchip you. So, yeah, this is all real deal stuff. And, you know, he's buddies with Jeffrey Epstein, too. It all comes back to the pedophiles, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a blackmail ring.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They think, they believe through black magic and through Satanism and higher levels and in the Masonic order and other secret societies, Eastern Stars and stuff like that. They think by sitting here drinking period blood or drinking blood of children is going to help their youth.
And people think that's crazy again, but I'm going to back it up with facts. Spirit cooking and the WikiLeaks emails, Marina Abramovich, there's videos of it, Podesta, it's breast milk, urine, blood, semen. They mix it up and they do art and paint and all that delicious stuff. Don't you want to be involved in that? And even Marina Abramovich admits herself hanging out with Bill Gates. Bill Gates giving $2 million to Jeffrey Epstein after he raped children. Marina Abramovich says, yeah, some of the stuff is art and some of it's black magic. It depends what we do. So this is all, like, the funny thing is, if we were to just talk about this stuff regularly without backing it up, we'd sound like the most crazy people in the world. But it's all absolutely true, you know? And this is the world that we're living in right now. Where do you see, because you said you're not really optimistic about the future. And people that know me behind the scenes, and even just, I guess, from the 12 people that watch my videos, know that typically I'm an unflinching optimist. Over the last several months, I really thought we lost it with America with COVID. I thought America was a bunch of pussies. And I've kind of been a little better since then. Even yesterday, I would never ever give up. I would never ever hurt myself. I would never ever be preemptively violent. I would never ever hurt children. So if you hear that, it's total bullshit. But I had a thought about giving up. I almost had a thought about giving up. I was like, but you have to realize that these people are severely brainwashed. I'm not using that as like some type of cliche or hyperbolic statement. They're literally brainwashed. Operation Mockingbird, the CIA, Edward Bernays, these societal engineers, Bertrand Russell, the people behind these marketing companies, the
Yep,
people in the
marketing
deep state, the
companies.
NSA, they know what's going on. So it's tough. It's very tough. But so I'm still optimistic. I'm never going to give up. What does the future hold, do you think? What are some of the paths we can go on? And I know you gave one solution earlier, which is waking up, which is the basic thing. Waking up. Just don't trust what the media says and the government says out of hand. But what do you see as some potential solutions, some more anomalies, and what does the future hold?
What my heart tells me, what my spirit tells me, what my divine connection to creation all around us within the universe tells me, if we want to see a drastic change on this world, if we really want to see change in this world, it's gonna take the whole world population, okay? At least a high percentage of the world population. And I'm gonna tell you the answer right now. The answer and the key to everything is love, okay? And not only just love, but love and unity. Look at this. Love and unity. If every single race, every single language across this planet, if we were to stand up and unite as brothers and sisters that we are, and take hands and raise our hands up to the sky, into the air, and chant and pray and meditate with each other and demand the change, demand the truth, we can see a drastic change. This is why the elites spend millions and trillions and billions of dollars every single year to keep us asleep,
Our dollars,
to keep us dumbed down, to keep us focusing on TV and sports and music, and this music artist shaking their ass, and this music artist with bling bling and the clothes and all this extra distraction bullshit to distract us from our spiritual path, to make us forget our divine purpose, to make us forget our divine mission. What are we here to do? Why are we alive? Why are we existing? As a soul, what am I here to do? What is the change I'm going to bring into this world? And this is why they spend so much money to tone us down, to do everything in the book, to make us believe that we're just a regular human being and we have to work and live in a slave society and follow these rules and regulations and laws and schooling programs to keep us dumbed down. Because when we start awakening, we start becoming conscious, when we start becoming aware of who we truly are and our true divine identity, they cannot stop us. And that's why they become afraid of people like you and I, because we start to wake, we empower ourselves, and not only that we empower ourselves, but we empower others. We're here to wake up our brothers and our sisters. That's why I respect and I love you, Will, because you are the man of truth. You ask those hard questions that people are afraid to ask, and then people are also afraid to hear the answers. But if we don't, you stay asleep. And when you wake up and you ask these answers, and ask these questions, you're crazy. But this is the spiritual battle that we have to go for. Right now, this is spiritual warfare. And I'm going to give a huge shout out to Shannon. Shannon here. I lost the comment. I literally just lost the comment that she put in.
I can't see any comments on my side, which is funny. But
yeah. She talked about,
I want to say, God.
I'm sorry. She mentioned, man, dude, right when I was about to read it, it's like the comments shifted. She basically said that God loves all her creation, even children, and that the battle is not through blood and through flesh, but through principalities and these demons. And this is exactly what we're talking about. We're here in Kansas City doing the live video, and I'm showing you, like, man, those motherfuckers are principalities right there. Because before something happens in the physical, it has to happen in the ether, it has to happen in the spiritual realm. Okay, and we cannot forget that we are in a spiritual warfare, that these entities they're carrying out their own mission. I mean, this is a war that has been going on since the beginning of time, you know, from the beginning of the Bible, so on and so forth, with these fallen angels and so on and so forth. All these people, all these corrupted politicians, government officials, cops, and so on and so forth, at the end of the day, if you ask me, and I'm going to be real, they're under a demonic influence, and they're working for that dark force, whether they realize it or not, whether they realize they're possessed or not. This is a spiritual warfare, but I'm going to tell you this, because as much evil and as much darkness that we see in this world, the devil will continue to send his principalities and the demons and so on and so forth. But guess what? God is still sending angels to this planet. Angels like you and I and other people are here to awaken our brothers and sisters to empower themselves, to wake up and say, guys, we're not slaves. We're not just regular human beings. We're spiritual beings living in a human body here, experiencing a physical density within this realm. And this is a freaking war. I did not sign up for this. I did not descend to come down to planet Earth to deal with all this bullshit. Maybe I did. Maybe I accepted the mission. But you know what? This is why we got to wake the fuck up, and we got to wake our brothers and sisters, because together, through love and through unity, we can conquer. We can scare away this darkness. It is within a dark room, when you light a candle, when you turn on the lights, the dark begins to scatter. And the brighter that light becomes, the less darkness is in there. And if all my brothers and sisters were to wake up and to unite with the divine love, divine unity, and brighten their inner flame, right? They show how Christ is pictured with a fire on his heart, right here in his heart chakra. If we begin to ignite that flame, we become the lights on this world. We become the change that the world needs to see. We need to unite, we need to come together, and we need to demand this change.
That's right. So, as always, a beautiful conversation. Mr. Universal, that's SOL, extremely intelligent, extremely charismatic. Me and him don't agree on everything, but we do definitely agree on that, hey, we're being lied to. The time is now to wake up, folks. Doesn't make a difference if what your color is. Racism is totally stupid. It's low intelligence thinking, just different shades of the same exact species. And if we don't start coming together now, we're going to continue to play in these elite people's hands. All it takes for evil to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing. And I respect Mr. Universal for standing up and doing so many things. Before we wrap this up, can you tell folks, I'm going to put in the comments, for some reason I can't see the comments at all, and maybe you could even tag the comment there, but what's the best, tell people a little bit about your movement, your YouTube channel, and where people can find you.
So guys, you can find me here on Facebook. If you definitely want to talk to me, you want to connect with me. There was a period of time where I did a lot of Facebook live videos, and I helped awaken a lot of my brothers and sisters out there. Unfortunately, I had to take a break for years, because when you stand up and you start speaking this divine truth and you try to wake up people, that spiritual warfare happens. You start getting attacked like a motherfucker. I'm going to keep it basic like that. You can also find me on Universal TV on YouTube. Now, I'm going to make it clear, guys, the YouTube is only just for entertainment. It's a hobby I like to do. I got paranormal videos where I show actual crazy paranormal stuff, spirits, orbs, even entities. I can't really describe them, but I also have you know, a couple of audits that I did with Will Turbit and Mr. America. I have funny clips, you know, that's my entertainment.
He's got a couple of characters. You know? He's got, yeah, these guys do it all. You know, that's why it's Universal. It's SOL. I know I can't see the comments now. I'm going to put it there in the comments so you know. But guys, the only way that we get this information out, we're not Facebook, we're not CNN, we're not Fox News, we don't have billions of dollars supporting us. We rely on you right there. The stuff that we talk about is destroyed by the algorithms. We talk about pedophiles and all this stuff. They don't want us talking about that. They don't want people saying, listen, all those people are a bunch of lying pedophile war criminals. Just don't trust them, right? They don't want people to do that. They don't want their power threatened. So, hey, we're just saying, hey, think for yourself, wake up, use an open, skeptical mind. If you don't know what Demand the Truth is about, it's about using the Socratic method, being nonviolent, and being nonpartisan. So if we can all start doing that, we can all start waking up, we're going to change this world. We need some nonviolent activism. We need to get some folks out there. It's a pleasure, as always, to be joined by Mr. Universal. Go give him a like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Give him a friendship request there on Facebook. And, of course, go to Demand the Truth on all the platforms. Oh, can't forget, we're on the Communist Chinese TikTok. What's your TikTok?
My TikTok is my Facebook name. It's Caesar Royal because I use my Facebook file to open up my TikTok as well.
All right, mine is Demand the Truth, TikTok. People say, what are you guys selling out to the Communist Chinese for? Well, one, we're teaching about freedom of speech. Two, your Apple phone, all these damn places, everything you own is made in China. So once you give that up and live in a burlap sack, they'll take you seriously. Once again, you're going to get conversations here on Demand the Truth you will not hear anywhere else, dogs. Fake Mike, real news, we're out. Share this motherfucking video. Peace.